Hey everyone. A lot of people in the West, especially, conflate the Israel Palestine conflict akin to what happened during colonial times. That is, the Israelites or the Israelis are the oppressors, and the Palestinians are indigenous to the land. And the worst part is it's being taught by professors uh, in a lot of major American and European universities. I'll tell you why they're wrong, but first, I want you to listen to this uh, speech, or this rant, I would say better, from the, well, I would say he's a pro Palestinian professor in a way, Norm Finkelstein. And listen to what listen to what he says. He makes some good arguments on the surface. It sounds really convincing, but I'll tell you why he's wrong. But first, listen to him, okay?
I wasn't confident in it. I was unsure. What I did was I went back to look at the slave rebellions in the United States and in the Caribbean. And the slave rebellions were very bloody affairs. They indiscriminately killed white people. If you take the largest slave rebellion in the United States by Nat Turner, his order was, quote, kill all white people. And that's what the slave revolters proceeded to do. They went from house to house, hacked women to death. In that case, they did behead babies. That's correct. And then what I did was, I looked at what the abolitionists, those who opposed slavery, what did they say about the Nat Turner Rebellion? What did they say, like C.L.R. James, the historian? What did he say about the slave rebellion in Haiti? And in each case, what I discovered was that the abolitionists, those who oppose slavery, white people, and also black people who oppose slavery, they never condemned Nat Turner. What they did was they said horrible things happened during that Nat Turner revolt. Just as I said, and I said it's not right, it's not wise to deny that Hamas and other militant groups committed atrocities of a significant magnitude on October 7th. I was not in denial mode. But then I did exactly what the abolitionists did. They did not condemn the slave revolts. They condemned, in the case of the United States, they condemned the white people who either enforced or turned a blind eye to slavery. Yeah. They said, we warned you, we warned you, we warned you. If you treat people this way, if you degrade them, you humiliate them, you murder them, that don't be surprised if a Nat Turner revolt happens. And that's exactly what I said about October 7th. If you knew, as I did know, what had been done to the people of Gaza, the fact that even the head of Israel's National Security Council said in 2004, Giora Island, he described Gaza as a huge concentration camp. Or Mary Robinson, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, she said in 2008, she said, a whole civilization is being destroyed. I am not exaggerating. It's being destroyed. Or as the Economist said, in 2023, just on the eve of October 7th, when they said that Gaza was a sinking ship. In the face of all of that, you can't be surprised by October 7th. You can't pretend to be shocked by October 7th, and you can condemn the atrocities, but just as the abolitionists did not condemn the slave revolts, I won't condemn the revolt by the inmates of a concentration camp who were born into it, because the people of Gaza who burst the gates, they were mostly around 20 to 22 years old. They were born into a concentration camp. They languished in that concentration camp, and they were fated
whole
and
concentration
destined
camp stuff
to
is
die in that camp. Okay.
okay. So let me address why he was full of crap. Firstly, this whole concentration camp ordeal that he's making up, literally. If that was the case, why were Jews being targeted and tormented for hundreds of years just in that region alone, in that so-called Palestine region when the Ottomans were in charge? There's so many records. I even made a video of this in my previous video. You can take a look at the amount of massacres they had. So this idea that, that the Palestinians were persecuted and, they're in a concentration camp similar or akin to the Holocaust, that's just nonsense, okay? And now the main point of the video, okay, that I wanted to address. The fact that he missed out on a key element, again, this is very significant for anyone who's lived in the Middle East. And I've lived in the Middle East and Sharia law countries. As a Christian, I've lived in Sharia law countries more than I lived in Israel. I lived in Israel for almost a year. And I can tell you for a fact, religion plays a huge part, especially in Islamic countries. And the kind of talks they have whenever you bring up the notion of a Jew, their body language changes instinctively. I'm not even making it up. You can see something different happens. And the way they talk about them in a very negative connotation, it's something only when you experience it with the common folk. I'm not talking about the Tucker Carlsons, the ones who go and hang out with the elite folks in Qatar and all the other places in Saudi, etc. These people have no idea what the common people feel about Jews, okay? That's a fact. And here's where I want to address. These people that Norm Finkelstein mentioned in the colonial times, that is the slave that revolted against the white man. Here's the problem. These slaves, they don't have a religion that talks about annihilating the white man. They wanted to avenge what they felt was wrong, and that's fine. I mean, I still think it's wrong to kill people for any reason. That's just a factor for me. That's my personal taste. But to conflate and compare that as to what Israelis are facing, Jews have always been targeted just for being Jews, not just by Muslims, but even Christians and so many other groups. But especially when it comes to this particular region alone, my God, the Hadiths in Islam talks about killing Jews. And why I brought that up is because Hamas has it in their charter. Of course, they'll say they changed it, but it's in their charter. You have videos of children in the Palestinian areas, I can try and put it up somewhere, teaching people, teaching kids to kill Jews. And they're being taught that. When you're being ingrained that, and your moms and the mothers are boldly professing that they will love to see their sons die killing Jews. I mean, when you grow up in that society, you shouldn't be surprised that they caught on CCTV 14-year-old boys working with Hamas and more than 3,000 civilians on that fateful day on October 7th working with Hamas and came inside Israel proper, to kill a lot of Jews. So this main ideology, which is religious in nature, and an historian which I really admire, Raymond Ibrahim, says that Muhammad made Islam a tribal religion. I mean, he brought tribalism into this faith, and that's his genius. I would have to say that's something people in the West never can fathom. They think that everything in the world, especially for people from the West, they have this idea that everything is the same, I guess, in some ways. And you'd have to say people even in the East also make that mistake, conflating at times that people think the same way from the East to the West. But this is the one reason they will never, ever understand the Israel-Palestine conflict. Religion plays a huge role. And what I just mentioned about the concentration camp lies, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many things like the refugees, the Jewish refugees. When I say refugees, I didn't mean the Palestinian refugees. The Jewish refugees that were being kicked out of all the Islamic countries nearby during the formation of Israel. And they all came to Israel because of how they were treated and they were tortured in those countries. Look at the stats of how many Jews lived in the 1940s in a lot of Muslim countries. Look at the stats now. How many are living in those same countries? Versus in Israel, there are 2 million Arabs right now in Israel. So this concentration camp lie is just garbage. I mean, why are there 2 million Arabs in Israel and 0 Jews in Gaza, unless they're dead Jews? I mean, that's what they like. I'm sorry if I have to be this harsh, but some of the lies, and a lot of people in the West, they buy this hook, line, and sinker, and it's so gullible, especially the younger people. They just need to understand that this is a religious thing, and you need to research a lot of the theology of Islam, Christianity, and Judaism to even get a fraction of understanding this conflict. Forget the secular side of things for a second, because even there, Israel is 100% right. Actually research the theological side. Come and live with people and see, in the Middle East especially, as a common person, and see the hatred a lot of them have towards a certain group. And I can tell you, as a person who lived in Israel, Jews don't have that kind of hatred towards Muslims, etc. In fact, one of my best friends when I was there in Israel was a Muslim. And to be honest, that was shocking for me. But here's the thing. Find out the truth for yourself, guys. And I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe. Take care.